Yeah, looks like we're underway. So a lot of things can happen in ONET without the use of manipulation. So there's a lot of enemy spawns that can be had on the hill. There's a lot of tactical despawn methods to that, but there's also a few tricks of the trade when it comes to walking around the enemies. So we'll see how the spawn plates really shake out here. But ONET is sort of the great equalizer in these races, because anything can and will go wrong if it wants to. So
this first section, what we're trying to do is, after this long cutscene that is what I call the last-minute bio break, before a run, what the runners are going to do is go and grab the crack bat out of the sister's room, then go down and see what's going on after the meteor crash.
as our players head outside and downstairs, they'll be treated to a first walk up the hill without spawns because of the obvious story implications that they have to do first. So they're going to get up to the top of the hill and talk to the annoying neighbor Pokey, who will impede progress any further up the hill.
This really shows optimal movement, as you want to try and make as many diagonal moves as you can without bonking or getting stuck. And that's how you really save a lot of time on this first section of ONET.
Yeah, that's a very good point there. The optimal movement strats are akin to the manipulation walk route as well. So it's almost good practice in these races if you're coming up on a time where you're learning manipulation to really hammer down the walking path up and down the hill each time. So
the next major trick that these runners are going to be doing a lot of, and you'll notice it, is optimal mashing. Mashing is done by either two combinations, either A and L to mash for an acceptable command, and B and select to mash for a negative command. Doing this the proper amount of times as fast as you can will save you time. However, you want to avoid overmashing.
yeah, that's a good point. Overmashing can lead to text box repeating themselves in certain situations.
Now, normally if you're playing through the first time, this is where Mom tells you to go get the crack bat, but our runners already knew that and did that at the very beginning.
Ultimo's out to a slight edge here, and I believe it's due to the mashing style that he has. As you can see, his input identifier in the corner there. You can see what buttons he's pressing and the frequency in which he's pressing them as well.
Pros are very specific spawns because you can actually skip by them a lot because of the way that they move. They always move right, then left. So they're good spawns to get if you're going to get a spawn, because you can get past them pretty easily.
Yeah, And the most dangerous enemy to fight on the hill is the crow, so you do want to be careful with which way they are flying. And if you do happen to get them going one way and they decide to change direction, there's sometimes that they can just shoot out from the corner with a burst of speed and get you. We call that we call that turbo crow.
So what we're seeing is another tech here called stuttering. If you time your inputs correctly, what you can do is move without the enemy moving that much, and allows you to outrun a lot of the enemies.
Both racers made it up the hill without taking a fight, but you could see that how they each had to deal with the spawns that they got. And Cerein was the first one to make it up. Cerein had that first corner be pretty empty, and that's usually a very, very good sign early on.
Now we get Buzz Buzz and then a repeat of no spawn mountain over here. So again, optimal movement is the way you want to move down, and our runners will then be approaching the first boss of the game, Starman Jr.
A scripted boss, but one that can cause trouble nonetheless. And by cause trouble, I mean he can take a long time to defeat. Usually in a manipulation route, he lasts 2 attacks from Buzz Buzz. But in a non-manipulation route, he can last anywhere from 2 to 4 attacks from Buzz Buzz. So obviously we want to get the more optimal two attacks to be faster. Starman has 3 attacks. He can cast Fire Alpha, which hits all your party members, which takes the longest. It's the longest of his attacks. He can cast Freeze, which is a single target attack, so thus faster. Or he can be on guard, which is the ideal optimal move that you want him to use. $58 from Buzz Buzz is a pretty low roll there. It looks like Cerein's probably going to have a 3-hit Starman. Or a 3 Buzz Buzz hit Starman, I mean when I say that.
As Buzz Buzz does pretty much all the damage in this fight.
Cerein is the first one through here, so yeah, he had the 3 hit, but it looks to me as if the Ultimo got a 105 there. So Ultimo caught up a little bit there based on the fight alone. So we return Pokey and Picky Minch to their house. They get chased upstairs by their dad, where unforetold things happen, and then you get a story sequence in which Buzz Buzz gets brutally swatted by Pokey's mom here.
We get Buzz Buzz's entire life story. And it's just very important that you get your mashing correct on this one, as you want to do an affirmative input for the first one and then deny the second one. Otherwise, you get to hear a lot more text.
And both these races are going to be neck and neck heading into the arcade battles with the Pogo Punks with Frank. And we'll see how the RNG shakes out. Cerein is... He righted the ship there. He was going the wrong way initially.
Done that one before. Sometimes you get so focused about just like, okay, planning out the next part of the route, you just go straight down back toward the meteor again.
So one of the first things we do here is we head to the treehouse and we get an item called the Mr. Baseball Cap. We're going to quickly equip it, but we're going to sell it in like 2 seconds. So what we do is we sell the Mr. Baseball Cap back for a baseball cap that has 1 fewer defense, but the transaction nets us $99, which allows us to buy a second defensive item called the Cheap Bracelet. And that's how we're able to get in and defeat Frank at such a low level. We're also going to buy the T-ball bat as well to up our attack power. You can see Cerein's walking to the center of the hospital. There's a despawn. That's a despawn for the sharks in the street there. So, at least as far as Ultimo's luck with the spawns in the streets, Cerein's plan there worked out really well because he got into the Pogo Punk battle first. Okay, pretty standard fight for both of them. They're both going to pick up a hamburger here. These 2 scripted Pogo Punk encounters that they're going to take have a 100% drop rate for a hamburger. So the one just outside underneath the arcade and the one inside that runs at you when you go by them. They're both going to give you a hamburger. Cerein just breezing through these Pogo Punks here. I do not believe he's used his bread roll. He's in good shape for Frank right now. Yeah, so he's going to be heading into Frank with all his psychic points and 3 burgers.
Now, the thing with the Frank fight is, basically, with Frank, if you get hit, just heal.
If he hits you for any amount of damage, no matter how small, heal. Absolutely right.
It's mainly because his knife attack is so scary in my book.
And you also want to start out by healing with your psychic points. You want to try to save the burgers for your trip into Giant Step at all costs. If you have to use them, obviously use them. That's why we use our psychic points up first.
Yeah, the advantage is when you go to buy some more burgers before going up to Giant Step, it allows you to be faster. Since you're going to get your psychic points refunded after Frankie's time.
Yup, that's a good point there. Frankie will, if you go out and come back out into the yard, Frankie will give you a full heal. Cerein with the smash attack too. That got lost a little bit there, but these 2 are neck and neck right now. This is a fast and exciting race. Cerein was able to recover from the mortal damage there because he had already queued up a life up, and the attack and the heal went off before his HP counter reached 0. That's something that we typically use in a full run. You won't see it too much in a short category like this, but that's a mechanic that we do utilize for later boss fights. So what we'll do is we'll keep attacking while the HP rolls down, and you're not out of the match until your HP hits 0. So if you can kill the enemy before that happens, you're good.
Trying to get the key to the shack from Mayor Pickle. And we're going to head off to that.
Both of these races are making excellent pace through net right now as well. They're both on very, very, very solid pace.
See both players going to the ATM to grab as much money as they can before hitting up the burger store for as many hamburgers as they can carry. And this is going to be the main carrying point for the grind section of this category.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to head into Giant Step and we're going to fight slugs until we hit level 8. That is typically right around like 25 slugs. That's how many we want to hit level 8. And one of the first things that we're going to look at when we hit level 8 is what our offense is. We want it to be 24 or higher. What that allows us to do is that allows us to insta-win against single Antoid fights. And that helps us with the walk up to Ant himself.
This is mainly because Antoids are the most dangerous encounter you can get in Giant Step, as they have a tendency to cause a block party. AKA call for help over and over and over again.
Oh, looks like Ulti's got his first 4-pack on screen now. So Cerein is... Oh, he's got the 2. Nice. So...
So, what they're doing here is they're looking for the black dots on the first floor of Giant Step outside of the caves. They're guaranteed to be slugs. You want to try and get as many of them clustered as you can to try and clean through them fast. Typically, the only time that's pretty dangerous is when you get an exceptionally large slug pool for your first kind of big group. As the slugs do a little bit more damage before you get that first level up. What you don't want to see are the mice encounters.
Yeah, the mice have high gut stats, so they smash a lot. So at a low level like this, they're doing 14 damage a hit, and it's not a good thing.
They really don't give that much EXP when you get into the fight.
I'll sometimes take a mouse fight if I'm close to level 8 and I'm already level 7, because they don't pose too much of a threat at level 7. But when you first get in there, they're not an encounter you want.
Now, for newer runners out there just trying to learn the route, you can go up to the boss at level 8 is what is recommended for pretty much everyone going fast, or if you really want to play it safe, you can go up at level 9. But you want to have at least level 8 just so you can use your first psychic attack rocking on things.
Yeah, you gotta have rockin' for the ant fight, because you want those black Antoids out of the match, because they can heal the boss, and you don't want that to happen. I've actually had an instance where my first rockin' missed one of the Antoids, and he healed the Titanic Ant. It's the most disheartening thing ever.
He could have called for help, though, too, again. This is more important for like when you're first doing the grind is when you're below level doing these slugs for the first time, you want to be able to hit 30 on every one of your auto attacks. Because once you're able to do that, then you can just turn on auto fight. Now, Ness will automatically try and heal when he gets below 50% health, so you got to pay that in mind. But if you're not hitting 30, you definitely want to be bashing it yourself just to make sure that you kill slugs in 2 strikes as opposed to, you know, spreading it out over the auto fight.
Ulti with the single slug there, I was able to insta-win against it. So you can actually attempt to section off single slugs and just insta-win. If you're able to pull that off when you first walk into Giant Step, it's much faster. Yeah, that's a good point, Shin. A unmanipulated Onet is very, 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 very different and very deadly at times. So, for those who don't know, a manipulated Onet typically lasts about 19 minutes. Versus an unmanipulated Onet, a good time is like between 27 and 32 minutes.
Now, the big thing with Titanic Gain is you want to use as much of your side points as possible early on to the fight. That's mainly because Titanic Gain can go out and swing at you for a lot of damage, but also he has another move called Psi Magnet, which drains your psychic points. This is more of an empty attack later on, which is what you want to get, but you want to try and take advantage of your psychic points while you have them. Question from chat, what is Boogie Percent? Well, Boogie Percent is a shortened version of Earthbound Glitchless. It is non-manipulated for for most standard runners. And the goal is to get through probably about the first fourth to a third of the game through defeating the Boogie Tent, hence Boogie Percent, and getting the Fly Honey at the end.
We call time when you pick up the Fly Honey. That's the end of the run. We call it Boogie Percent because it sounds better than Fly Honey Percent. Boogie Percent is roughly 1/4 of the run, of the full run. In minutes. So a good run is sub 110, and anything between sub 110 and sub 120 is still very good. And we actually had a new world record set last night in a casual friendly race by Daniel RGT at 103, and I'll get the seconds. Hold on.
This is also coming from a game that, if it wants to kill you, it's probably going to kill you. So
103.29. Sorry. So sorry there, Q.
Ultimo's heading down to see what's up at the police station. Apparently they ran out of donuts or something, right? Now, with the cops, you basically they've got two attacks. They've got a standard attack, and then they've got the crushing chop. You don't want to see crushing chops, as it does a lot of damage. And basically, there's certain HP values you gotta watch out for. 55 for a burger, about 35 for a life up. And you're trying to make it through without taking as little damage as you can, because it speeds to fights.
And the other thing that can happen against the cops, too, is on healing turns, there's a chance that you can outspeed the cop, heal yourself, and then get hit by the cop. But you also do have a pretty fair chance to outspeed the cop on attacking turns, which is what you're looking for.
Now, this is another example of using the rolling health bar to the advantage, because something that you may want to do in certain circumstances is just to wait for it to tick up right before getting a finisher attack off, or trying to get two attacks off while the rolling HP is going. If you can mash fast enough.
Cerein's got 5 burgers, and he's on his way to cops here. 5 is okay. You you could do cops on 5 burgers, but I'd be interested to see if he decides to buy more here.
Once again, Ultimo showing off the effectiveness of the Mortal Blow rolling ticking HP. So the last guy chickens out, and then we have to fight Strong instead. Now, Strong pretty much has 3 attacks. He can lose his temper, which is what you want to see. It just gives him increase to attack. He can come out with a normal attack, or he can do a grappling attack, which is what you definitely don't want to see. A submission hold.
Strong down. GG ulti, the 28.44 on net. It's a solid time for sure. Now, it's not to deter you from the dangers that await you outside of Onet. There's still a lot of things to watch out for, but Onet's a huge, huge part of this run. So. Let's see if Cerein has the same luck on the cops here.
The big thing going through out of Onet to Tucson is avoiding the stream attacks, stream fight. As you can get Mastermize, and if you get Mastermize, you're gonna have a bad time. You ever think movement in this game is hard? Well, if you get Mastermize, it jumbles up your controls every couple seconds.
It's a fun little trick you can do to get around that, though, and it's one that I still use to this day. When the control switch, I simply rotate my controller to the right, and it's good to go.
It's kind of hard to do with my keyboard, but I'll have to keep that in mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine it being too fun on a keyboard. He's up in Apple Kid's house right now, so walk in this guy's house, give him food, give him $200, and this guy takes care of you for the rest of the game, just making you inventions and stuff that you need to defeat your enemies. The first of which we'll see shortly. $16 health. Oh no. Cerein, no. The 16 health is impossible to mash out of. So what he needed there was he needed Cerein to be on guard or use another attack or miss.
What's Ultimo doing is going up and checking out the Great Metal Pencil in PRV. Unfortunately, since Cerein took a death there, he's going to meet everyone's favorite cameraman. That would be the one and only Fuzzy Pickles. So at the count of 3, Fuzzy Pickles.
Unfortunately, in the case of the cops, when Cerein gets back in there, he's going to have to fight all the cops again. He doesn't get to jump right to Strong. So he knows this, and he looks like he's going to go buy some more hamburgers.
Yeah, the important point is if you die during this run, for the first part, it's important to heal with Mom before you leave. Don't just try and go like, oh, I need to get back in there, because you'll go in there and you're like, oh, I've got new psychic points. It's not a good thing.
Yeah, that's usually a recipe for another trip back to Mom's house. Serein's gonna take it from the top. He's gotta fight all the policemen again. However, he does keep his experience from the last set of fights, so he should hit another level before Strong.
There's still plenty of this run left. PRV, whether or not they go for a death warp, the Happy Village, lots of things can still happen.
Boogie percent is a partial game race category that goes from the start of the game in ONET through the Boogie tent boss in Threed and picking up the Fly Honey item, and that's the end of the run.
I do believe that needs to be updated.
World record, yeah. (103.29) feasible.
PRV is a very, very scary place, as you can get pincered very easily out here. Such fast enemies as robots and UFOs. Slower enemies like the trees, but very dangerous. You have to really be careful about how you despawn and how you move around with the spawn tiles. Currently, Ultimo is in the lead by checking the pencil and now erasing said pencil and moving through PRV.
He had a 38.44 ONET, so just going by splits alone, he's about 6-7 minutes ahead. But far from over.
Well, the other thing with PRV is, since there's so many different levels here, this is a prime example of having a lot of spawns on the screen at any given time, which causes lag, which makes pulling off every other trick that you do in movement much harder. Whether it's stuttering, or despawning, or avoiding pincers. Now, the snakes in these caves will do two things. Now, if they get brave, then they suicide on you, waste time, and as you auto-win that one. Or they just run away like they did for Ultimo.
Yeah, Drumbo, that's true. A Carpenter death is a good 8-minute time loss, so it loses quite a bit of time.
Oh, like, you got Cultist B, you got the scripted Pokey.
So what would happen is if Alti did unfortunately not defeat Carpenter, he would be placed at the Death Warp location in the Tucson department store and have to walk all the way back. So it is quite substantial.
Now, the thing that you have to be careful with in these halls are the cultists. Cultists are very dangerous enemies due to the fact that there is a scripted fight with them. All mobs designated with the flag cultists are unrunnable fights. A death to Carpenter would be quite a shocking outcome. Pretty much the... Oh, goodness.
You get the call for help. He one-shot Cultist B, luckily. And he went for the mash there. He went for the bash, excuse me. the cultists can still call for help on that turn. So, I mean, Ulti was very, very fortunate that he was able to defeat the cultists before any more got called.
As like any call for help enemy, it can rapidly devolve into a situation beyond your control.
Ultima with the lucky butterfly spawn outside. That is so lucky. That's huge right there. After you having to use 2 Rockins on the Shack fight to have full psychic points going into Carpainter.
Now another option is going to get that croissant in the bottom right corner of the cultist shack if you want a little bit of extra safety. But with somebody of Ultimo skill, grab it.
So going through the cultist house here, there is one fight you have to take that Ulti's in now. The rest of them just move out of your way, luckily. So, but this fight can get out of hand very quickly. Of course, the guys can call for help, and one cultist can turn into 3 in a few turns.
So it's time to see if Carpainter is so blind that he can't even hit himself. At that point, somebody's prescribed him some new glasses.
He's going to need a new prescription. He misses the first 2. But Ulti's loaded up on Rockins here, so... So Carpainter is scripted. Every 3rd turn he attacks you, and every 6th turn he cycles through. He heals himself. So you can manage the fight, but if you run out of healing items, it can get out of hand pretty quickly. You really need a couple of lightning reflex to really end the fight quick. But I did notice that Ulti had like 4 croissants, so he definitely took that into consideration here.
Cerein moving through to go talk to Apple Kid to get the pencil eraser. But if you're looking for a good time, what you should do is, instead of going to talk to Apple Kid at the very start, you should go check out your old friend Everdread. I'm sure he's got something that he wants to give you. I'm just kidding, don't go fight Everdread. Everdread will wreck your day.
You don't want to do that before doing Happy Village. So, the guy on top of the roof there that you saw is an optional boss fight. Usually in a normal, casual playthrough, you'll fight him when you visit Berglund Park. And he'll give you some experience, and he'll go about his day, and then you'll come back later, and he'll give you a key item. But the fact is you actually never have to fight him. In order to achieve that, you just never go near his house until it's time to go get the money. So what happens is this sprite stays on the roof, and after you have Paula, he jumps down like he's going to fight you and just gives you money.
I know, that sounds like a pretty awesome day to me. Some guy jumps off the roof and hands you a big stack of money.
I mean, make my day for sure.
Paula starts off with a teddy bear, and teddy bear has a very interesting mechanic. 75% of the time, he'll take the hit and stub anybody else in the party. Now, this is really useful on a casual playthrough, as, you know, it allows you to mitigate a lot of damage. However, what the Ultimo is trying to do here is what we call the Death Warp, which is where you're purposely trying to die to skip having to go back through Peaceful Rest Valley.
Over on Cerein's screen a few seconds ago, he actually pulled off a pretty nice juke. He manipulated a sprout spawn to walk directly down into a tree and was able to go around it to the right. That was a really good use of his surroundings right there.
Cerein's got a pincer going on right here.
He had the room to despawn it, though. He's free and clear. Alti's on his way back to Tucson. So the first thing he'll have to do is res Paula, and then he'll have to go around and do like a little collection quest, as it were. He'll have to go do a few story triggers and pick up a few items, and then advance the story.
I've always wondered this. Could you go talk to Paula's dad while Paula is still dead?
Nope.
That answers that question. It would be a very interesting conversation. Hey, found my daughter, but she's dead.
Yeah. You can't see her. So going to talk to Paula's dad with Paul in the party is what triggers Everdread to give you the money. So after talking to the dad, then you go trigger the what would have been the Everdread fight. And instead of fighting you, he jumps down off the roof and hands you a bunch of money. Until he's done collecting all the items he needs, and now he's going to go bail the Runaway 5 out from their bad contract that they signed to play at the Chaos Theater. But a funny thing to know when they start playing on stage is that there's actually 6 members.
Yeah, the last one is their manager, correct?
I always frequently say it's the keyboardist that is the one that you don't see pop into the office, or you don't see in this room right here. So I call him drumboardist. So we have drumboardist in the Runaway 5 coming at you live at the Chaos Theater.
You need that little bit of extra dad call. Where everyone at?
You can see him back left center right there. That's drumboardist right there. He's jamming away in the keyboard.
It also means that he made smart financial decisions in his life. Now there's several options to this Runaway 5 cutscene. Go up, grab a drink, get a snack, take a quick bio, or my favorite, dance out to the music.
Could sing a song. So, over back on Cerein screen, we pop back into Happy Village here, and as you can see, he's despawning these cultist fights. Fun fact, you cannot run away from cultist fights, even if you green swirl them, because of the shack fight. Since that's like a mini-boss, sort of, the cultist enemy itself is coded to not allow you to run away from it. Which means that the cultists in the cave share that same flag.
memorable encounters with somebody soliciting you about something? Wow, that sounds like real life to me.
There's 3 enemies that share that distinction. There is the Guardian robots in the Monotoli building. You have the slimy little piles in Belch's base, and of course the cultists. Oh, and the cops that spawn in Tucson. The cops as well. So 4 that I can think of. If anybody knows of any more, those are the 4 that I can think of off the top of my head, though. Solid fight over there, Cerein. Nice job. Serein's through Carpainter and is going to be on his way back to Tucson shortly to do all the things he needs to do there. Ulti's on his way in the 3 up to the graveyard, which can contain a lot of spawns and can be a relatively dangerous place to take an encounter. He needs to get to the top center by going around this left-hand corner here, and he needs to trigger this story event with these 2 zombies here to be able to progress to the next area.
Between flies and ghosts, the graveyard is not a fun place. However, we are about to go visit the hypest of all hotel parties. They even got a dog in there, man. Just a shame that the party's died down a little bit. So now it's time to meet the 3rd friend in our party. Now, whether you like him or hate him on this, and I mean, whether you hate him or hate him, this 3rd party member is named Jeff. So which camp are you in, D-Rock, hate or hate?
Jeff can be a jerk, but he is absolutely essential to the full speed run, so I have to give him some respect in that aspect.
In my opinion, Jeff is RNG personified in Earthbound, and whenever you have to deal with RNG in Earthbound, it typically likes to mess you up.
I give credit where credit's due. Jeff comes through sometimes. Sometimes. Only sometimes.
Really want a funny accident, let Jeff get confused while firing a bottle rocket, or a big bottle rocket.
And that happened far too many times to mention. Because at least in Milky Well or in Rainy Circle, he can get mushroomed before those fights, so, or in those fights. So he can very well nuke your party with a bottle rocket, and it's usually not a sight that you want to see. So Cerein is on his way doing what I like to call Tucson cleanup, And so he'll be up to the Runaway 5 show shortly and on his way to 3. Meanwhile, Ultimo has finally gotten the bad key machine after trying to use a bent key to open the locker. Now he has an item that fixes bad keys and allows him to open many things and get some items. A pop gun and a home set. So now he's going to head outside. He's going to get a lift over the gate from Tony, and he's going to go pick up the best NPC in the game.
The teddy bear?
Good guess, but no. The Bubble Monkey.
I'm sorry, the best NPC in the game is Tessie.
You're not... You are right. I have to agree with you there, sir. But for the purposes of the speedrun, you have to drag around this nonchalant monkey who has ADD and doesn't pay attention to stuff.
You're saying?
So that'll come into play more once Ulti gets to the best NPC in the game, crosses over the body of water and gets into Brick Road. You're really gonna see where the Bubble Monkey really comes to play.
But first we gotta get some stew. Because, you know, after escaping from the orphanage with a large gate, I'm kinda hungry.
No, I would be.
There's two options here. You can either keep the defense spray for a little extra cash, or you can drop it right here. But we're about to meet the best NPC in the game. Everyone, if you can, let me see those MS Paint beats.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was added too, so it should work.
Now, the other thing that Ultimo did was he avoided another picture spawn by hugging that tent.
Yeah, he did. He actually did a nice little maneuver upward toward the middle of the tent there. He actually almost hit the photo trigger, but he was able to correct it in time. I saw it. So, Ultimo's on Tessie. Cerein is watching Drumbo jam away with the Runaway 5.
So this is the only time that we'll actually see Tessie during the Boogie percent run. In the any percent glitchless run, you actually do see Tessie again. So
yeah, you ride Tessie twice in the full game, in the full run.
It's because you're too busy playing, right, Drumboardus? So the first thing after getting off Tessie is doing a despawn here of the ram, which is a 100% spawn unless you do that movement there.
Yeah, so that movement is essentially just walking diagonal down left toward the cliff as soon as you get control back of Jeff after disembarking from Tessie. If you walk directly, diagonally down left, hit the cliff side, and then walk down right to the tree line, you'll never see a goat. If you walk directly down afterwards, you'll see a goat every time.
Looks like the protoplasms are going into block party mode.
Yeah, this is bad luck here for Ulti. Oh, lucky runaway. Very nice, very nice.
So
see if he's going to try for duck skip. Sorry, Q.
Nope, I was just about to say the same thing.
He got the left movement, but after the duck was already up. Ooh, he might be stuck there. Oh, there you go. He's got it now. He's got... Oh, yeah, he's definitely got it. Very nicely done, LT. But that's not all Winters has installed for you. You like to tell the people a little bit about Pond Cave, Q?
Not really after the last completed run I had. Yeah, this place is really spawn heavy for people who have excellent luck, and everything will kill you. Not to mention it loves to have a lot of spawns, so lag can become an issue. And you can get pincered here very easily.
Yeah, that summed it up very well, I think. Stutter stepping comes into play very heavily here in Pond Cave, but there's a lot of narrow passageways. Sometimes your best stutter isn't enough.
Not to mention you want some good Bubble Monkey movement.
Yep,
Sometimes Bubble Monkey can just give you an encounter because he just doesn't want to move.
Alti with a godlike Pond Cave, though. My goodness, was there even any spawns in there?
No, the thing is, you can use the bubble gum pretty much anywhere where you got the rope on screen. But ideally, you want Bubble Monkey to be as close as possible, that way he doesn't slowly float to it.
Yeah, you can use the bubble gum from as far away as that stalactite on the ground there, but Bubble Monkey very slowly will hover over to the rope and pull it down for you. That was a great Pond Cave for Alti there.
The only thing is you can outrun cave boys, and if you're deciding to go through Stonehenge, you do have to watch out. There is a photo trigger there. I found it. And then promptly got into a fight, died, and had to go all the way back.
Unfortunately, at this point for Cerein, it's going to be very, very hard for him to catch up. Basically, Alti's got one thing left to do here. He's got to defeat Boogie 10. But Cerein is still on a very, very, very nice pace. So the Skyrunner ride from Winters back to Threed is roughly 2.5 minutes, for those wondering.
The important thing is, once you get into the Skyrunner, you want to make sure it shakes before you go and take care of any business that you might need to do before the end of the run. Especially for like glitches, this is kind of a big bathroom break of the run. Because if it ain't shaking, you ain't moving.
Yep, and if you sit too long, the game will say, "Hey, you there with the controller, what are you doing? Press a button already."
So Ultimo has a couple last parts to clean up his run. First things first is going to be Graveyard Escape. Graveyard is still very dangerous, it has a lot of spawns, and the mobs there are quite fast. So you typically want to just despawn everything if you see anything by just going back down. Then he can go pick up the teddy bear. If he wants to, get some optional bottle rockets, then go down and fight Boogie.
Teddy bear is a good safety strat here. Some runners will tend to maybe save that teddy bear for Shroom and pick up the one in Tucson, upstairs in the Polestar preschool. But for the purposes of this shorter category, you might as well blow off the one in Tucson, pick up the one here, and let the teddy bear do its job and absorb one hit. Or 2, depending on how the rolls go. The teddy bear roughly has about 100 health.
I always get these two confused. The 1 in 3 is the deemed a bitch bear, right?
That's the Tucson one.
Okay, so I did get it confused.
It's a very, very, very good thing to do if you're new to the run, if you're new to full glitchless. It's a very good idea to pick up both teddy bears for a full run. You really, really don't need 2 for this partial category, though.
Like, if you actually think about the mechanics of the teddy bear, it's actually really good. Just a 75% chance to say, nope, I'm not going to take some damage.
Yep.
So, Ultimo skipping the optional bottle rockets and going right in there for it.
Yeah, you have the option to do a little bit of shopping beforehand, but he's going for defend BBR as well. See how that works out. 565, there you go.
That's a solid bottle rocket.
He did what I would have done in that situation too, and that was skip the freeze animation because it's only going to do like 7 damage. And with a 585 on the first roll, he's really close to death. So, good GG on Ultispire. It was a solid race time.
This is important if you're learning this category again, and time doesn't stop until you pick up the fly hunting, which means you need to master all these level ups here.
You got a good point there, Rithium. The first trip through the graveyard's a little safer. I don't disagree.
As we said before, you can spam 4 different buttons to spam through text. Select B, A, and L. One last hi to Tessie.
Ultimo wins the race with an official SRL time of 1:07:48. So GG Ulti.
That is a solid time.
It's a very, very, very good time. Cerein's making very good pace himself, and he's on his way down to Brick Road to finish up strong. And it appears though Ulti is walking through the tunnel, trying to head back to Tucson, but he's going to be really remiss to find out that when he gets booted out, he's going to be back in threed. Because I remember soft locking here during a full glitchless race one week. I kept dying to Boogie Tent. I tried to go back to Tucson to grind on smaller enemies, and I was not able to get back to Tucson.
Looks like he's just dancing with the ghosts.
I have not, Ori. Is this something that I haven't seen yet?
I can only assume this is kind of an impeding thing where you clip into the ghost and then you can do something, I'm assuming.
Interesting, you can get back to Tucson. Oh, you despawn, so you never get the trigger. Very clever. Nice first proto fight from Cerein there. That first proto fight we call is the hardest enemy in the game because it has a tendency to defeat you a couple of times. My last Boogie race myself, I died to proto 3 times. It was frustrating.
See if he gets proto skip.
Bubble Monkey kind of delayed on him there, but typically how I set up for that is I come to the top, along the top wall there, and I walk back and forth until Bubble Monkey pauses. So I get that walk cycle out of the way, and then I go straight left. I aggro the present, and I walk down to the bottom wall, and I walk straight left.
Yes, there is going to be another Earthbound race later on tonight. I believe that's going to be at 11, yes?
Yep, 11 p.m.
Eastern?
Eastern, yep.
So about 2.5 hours from now. Sorry, 1.5 hours, excuse me.
Yeah, you'll be able to see that race on the individuals' channels, I believe. Solid second room Cerein. Let's see what the... Oh, nice job. Good day, Key Paladin. Empty top floor. GG, Cerein. Nicely done on Pawn Cave. Nice dodge there. That cave was a little too close for comfort. So, there's 2 iterations of the Cave Boy enemy. The first iteration with Jeff here, the Cave Boy has 6 speed and is generally pretty easy to run away from. The second iteration of Cave Boy comes when you come back later to visit Stonehenge Base, and Cave Boy now has 77 speed. It is much harder to run away from. So don't let the looks fool you. Cave Boy is quite the fast enemy, but only on the second time.
Well, I suppose with this last Skyrunner cutscene, we should discuss what's going on with Earthbound in the next couple days. I know there's a race later on tonight on the individual channels, and I know there's definitely 3 races tomorrow. So if you love Earthbound, make sure you tune in for that. They'll all be on Speed Gaming 2. With the first race being between Flesh and Toucan Sam at 2 p.m. Eastern. Then there's a race at 3:30. I think it got moved to 3:30 between Uko, Toons, and Zelda Rock Sander. Then it'll be actually my race between me and Erythium.
I don't know if he cut out there, but Q Kitsuki and Earthbound will be on Speed Gaming 2 tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. So Cerein's arrived back in 3. It's going to meet up with the rest of the party, and we are going to see the conclusion of this race. But Cerein's going to finish up pretty strong here. Still a good time here. Our next scheduled race on Speed Gaming 1 is, according to our spreadsheet, is on September 18th at 8 p.m. between Oh Hey It's David and Erythium. That's our next scheduled race on Speed Gaming 1. Let's see how the fight goes for Cerein. He's going to also do defend BBR. Another nice roll. Both racers had a very nice roll tonight on their BBRs. So Cerein's last segment here will be, he should have waited for Jeff to pass there. Jeff's going to survive with 1 HP, and he's going to gain all his level ups. If Jeff had died before Boogie Tent had died, Cerein would have saved a little bit of time on the level ups. But as it stands, it's going to be the standard amount of time to mash through all the text. Truth be told, after firing the BBR, the optimal thing is for Jeff and Paul to die.
Now, is that for Boogie percent only, or is that both?
Yeah, you don't want that to happen in the full glitchless run.
That's what I thought, but I was just double checking.
That's cool. Alright, GG Cerein. Official SRL time of 1:18:41. So very nicely done by both racers here. But Ultimo is going to walk away with this one. Thank you all for tuning into the Super Series. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. as Q Kitsuki said, at 2 p.m. for a race between Toucan Sham and Flesh 177. So until then, have a good night.